during wartime our production does not lessen. We will not call upon any levies, even during the worst of wars. And yes, to reach those numbers it will take us almost 30 more years. He could see the reluctant nod and the processing of this data. The winter wolves are divided into legions. Each legion has 100 men. Of those 100 men 99 are under ranks, i.e. they have no officer training. Then they have one lieutenant that heads that legion. Each legion has 10 spearmen, 10 pikesmen, 49 swordsmen as the one officer which is also a swordsman, 10 axemen and 20 archers. That is just the foot soldiers. We will have 2,600 legions of foot soldiers and the rest 900 legions of cavalry. The cavalry will be divided into 550 legions of light cavalry and 350 legions of heavy cavalry. That means we will have 260,000 infantry, 55,000 light cavalry and 35,000 heavy cavalry. Now a group of 7 legions called as a band are commanded by a captain. The captains march with the men and are at the head of their men during battle. A group of 5 bands is led by a marshal and is called as a battalion. A group of 5 battalions is led by a colonel and is called a regiment. And finally a group of 5 regiments is led by a general and is called as a company. We have 5 companies of the north, the Black Dreads, the Wild Wolves, the Winter's Wrath, the God's Chosen and the She-Bears in respect of the fierce warrior women of Bear Islands. Each company has their own logo, motto and war cry. Each company has equal numbers of light cavalry, heavy cavalry and infantry divided into them. Understood so far? Yes, but have a question. He nodded to her and she continued. You told me that it is the winter wolves who protect our cities. She said and again he just nodded. Including Winter City, she asked. Yes. He replied. Is there any rotation facility amongst the winter wolves, she questioned again. Yes, there is a rotation routine of winter wolves. The area of Winterfell and Winter City comes under the command of the Black Dragons, currently, but it changes every 5 years. He said, curious as to where this was going. Are you telling me that the men protecting the city change every 5 years? She said, a bit alarmed. No, I am telling you that the men protecting the city change every year. He replied calmly. That will be a problem. The men will not know who the misfits and the mischief makers in the city are. They will not know all the nooks and crannies of the city, and by the time they find out they will be replaced by the new men. And the same goes for the rest of the cities and towns of the north too. She said. So, what are you suggesting? He said. Let the winter wolves man the walls and gates of the cities and towns, but form a permanent garrison of men to actually guard the cities and towns. For example, you could hire 7,500 trained men to protect Winter City. They could be called as Grey Cloaks. These men could be sworn to their liege lords and will get the lords off of your back. I am sure that they were thrilled that you could not expect them to protect their own towns and cities. She finished with a smirk and he flinched. That conversation with the lords had not gone well. So, you are proposing to have a constant city guard, similar to that of King's Landing? He said, thoughtful. The idea had merit. If he did this, then not only will be the cities better guarded but also get the lords off of his back. Yes. Your idea has merit. In a Senate, when you propose your plan for our economy, my father will also be present. Give me that much time to think of their ranks and salaries, and after talking to him we will give the formal order for the formation of such an order. He said. Thank you, for considering the idea seriously. A lot of men would have simply scoffed at my idea and said that a woman has no place discussing military aspects. She said with a genuine smile. He smiled back at her for that. Now if you have no other questions, then can we move forward with our discussion? He asked. Yes, of course. Next we have the Weirwood Warriors. They are the elite fighting units of the North. They are tasked to protect the Stark family and key points of the North like Moat Cailin with the help of Winter Wolves. These men and women are highly skilled and motivated. We currently have only 3,000 of them, and after 20 more years, we expect them to number around 20,000. That will be the maximum number of Weirwood Warriors that we will have. There is hierarchy in this order also. There are captains who command 200 men called a group. 4 of these groups are under the command of a marshal. 5 marshals are under a colonel and all 5 colonels are under one single general who resides in Winterfell and takes orders directly from me, the current Lord Stark. Winterfell is the only keep in the north which is manned only by weirwood warriors. When any member of House Stark leaves Winterfell, he or she will be accompanied by weirwood warriors. Even if one is to go to Wintercity. The protection detail for the Lord, Lady, Heir and other members of House Stark differ with where that person is going. 20, 15, 10 and 5 weirwood warriors accompany the Lord, Lady, Heir and other members of House Stark respectively. The same number goes up to 80, 60, 50 and 40 weirwood warriors respectively if they leave outside of Winterfell but stay inside north along with a legion of winter wolves. If a Stark leaves the north, then 300, 200, 150 or 100 weirwood warriors will need to accompany them respectively along with 2 legions of winter wolves in case of the Lord and Lady. He explained the security detail of the Stark family to her. So, if I want to visit Dorne, even then I will be accompanied by 400 soldiers. Yes. This protocol was not made by me or any of the Starks, but rather the other lords demanded us to have these protocols as a security precaution and my father had to agree with it. They did not take no for an answer. He said. After thinking about it for a few seconds, she nodded her head in acceptance. The Artillery Division of the North is the division which creates and then operates the siege weapons during a siege. They are trained on how to work a siege weapon and how to properly dig ditches, make watchtowers and the likes during a siege. We have trained 1,000 of them, and in another 15 years we will have 10,000 of them. That will be all the numbers that we will need, as these men will also have help from the soldiers who are laying siege to the castle. Again, they are broken in the same way as that of winter wolves. She just nodded her head in acceptance. Now, all these units are land-based. House Stark commands only one marine-based military unit and they are called as the Sea Wolves. Their headquarters will be based in Seawolf Point on the western shore and Ramsgate on the eastern shore. Though there are other harbours and castles where the Sea Wolves are located, namely Bear Islands, Deepwood Town, Flint's Finger, the Rills, seat of House Ryswell and Stony Castle, a new castle built on the Stony Shore, on the western shores, and King's House in Skagos, Carhold, Widow's Watch, White Harbour, and a new town being built on the mouth of Weeping Water called Freehold Town. Now the fleet's Sea Wolves have a different hierarchy of ranks. The head of a ship is called a captain. He commands 200 men under him. All of them have military training. The men include 30 archers, 70 operators, the men who operate the ballista and tread bucket, 70 swordsmen, cooks, navigators, helmsmen and sailsmen. We do not use oars as we have rudders on our ships to guide them, and our sails are better positioned to give us the required speed, which is adjusted by the sailsman. Now a group of 10 ships is called a squadron and it comes under the command of a squadron leader. A group of 5 squadrons is called a group and comes under the command of a group captain. Now the position of vice admiral is held by the most highest authority on that shore, that is the person who leads a group of 15 groups of ships on the western shore and 10 on the eastern shore is given that title. We have more ships on the western coast than the eastern coast because of the constant threats of the Ironborn. The title of Admiral of the Sea Wolves is held by me, the current Lord Stark. He said. We have a total of 750 warships. Though only 250 ships are made of ironwood, rest of them are made of normal wood. We will be changing that as soon as the plantations of ironwood are complete. In 6 years we will start our making new warships made of ironwood, and then the rest 500 warships will be converted into trading ships. He said, and she nodded, remembering the conversation they had during the monetary talks. All our soldiers, be they winter wolves, sea wolves, weirwood warriors or the artillery division, is outfitted with northern steel weapons and armors. The land-based soldiers wear special armor which has chainmail armor as the first layer, a layer of boiled leather, and then at last on top of it all plate armor. Plate armor is required to wear at all times. The other 2 layers can be removed as required. Though the men prefer to wear all 3 layers, and because northern steel is so light there is no hindrance in their movement. Their whole armor weighs the same as a man wearing only plate armor made of Southern Castle forged steel, but provides a much higher level of protection. The archers are equipped with longbows, though all of them are also trained to use a crossbow. They also carry short bows, which are used to deal a lot of damage across a short distance, similar to crossbows, though their range is a bit lesser than crossbow. The bows are made of ironwood. The arrows are designed specifically for easier release and higher accuracy, and the tips are made of northern steel. The design of the tips has also been changed for better stability in the air and maximum damage to the person. Now the swordsmen of the Winter Wolves use a longsword as their preferred blade. They carry a large rectangular curved shield with them. The shield is made of ironwood with a protruding dome made of northern steel to provide extra protection as well as provide more offensive options. The dome will not impale a man, but it can surely break a few bones. The edges of the shield are sharp and made of northern steel to have an element of surprise. It can act as a dagger. The pikesmen do not carry any shields, just their 7-feet-long pikes. The spearmen carry a 6.5-feet-long spear in one hand and a shield in the other. Their shields are the same as those of the swordsmen. But they also carry a bastard sword with them. The pikes and spear shafts are made of ironwood and the blades are made of northern steel. The axemen carry a single-headed axe made of ironwood and northern steel. The legions of the North are trained to fight as a one single fighting unit similar to the Unsullied of Essos. They are trained in hand-to-hand combat and also given combat experience in single-to-many combat, but their greatest strength is in group combat. The men in the legions are trained together for 4 years from the first day. They know the strengths and weaknesses of the man beside him. The greatest problem of the Unsullied is their lack in initiatives. They are exceptional fighters, but they would not move a muscle unless given an order, which they have ingrained into our fighters also. To counter this problem, we have added officers who have military training. They know when to move forward to press an advantage, or they know when to retreat back. And the same was then done to all the other fighting forces of the North. Our men are trained by the men of the world. The spearmen and pikesmen are trained by the Unsullied, the archers are trained by the free folk and Cranogmen, both who are exceptional marksmen. The axemen and the swordsmen are trained by knights and other master-at-arms of the North, or the ones they propose. The cavalry of the Winter Wolves is divided into light and heavy, as you know. The armor the men wear is similar to the infantry units and is the same for both the light and heavy cavalry. The difference comes from the amount of armor the horses have. The armor of the light and heavy cavalry horses is same to their counterparts in the south, though the weight of the armor is very low. In fact, in terms of weight, the heavy cavalry of the North is similar to light cavalry of the South, so even our heavy cavalry is fast. The men are equipped with a 10-feet-long lance made of ironwood and northern steel tips and have either a longsword or a great sword with them as per their preferences. The men are trained by the Dothraki as they are the best horse tamers in the world. The men are trained to be fearless and bold as the Dothraki. The Dothraki have also helped change the designs of our saddle, which now gives our men better control of the horses. He finished and she just nodded her head, and so he continued. The Weirwood warriors are the elite fighting force of the North. They are predominantly a cavalry unit. They are trained in all kinds of weapons: swords, axes, bows, maces, warhammers and spears. They can fight on both horses and foot. They can shoot arrows from horsebacks, a skill they learned from our Dothrakis. Seeing her eyes light up, he chuckled and said, "Yes, I know you love to ride and are more than capable of using bows, so I have arranged for your lessons. You will join Lyanna in her lessons to shoot arrows from horsebacks," he said, and couldn't resist laughing at the dreamy expression and goofy smile that lit up on her face. "Thank you, thank you, thank you," she squealed and hugged him. "You're welcome," he said as she went back to her seat with a slight blush and a sheepish smile. "So, as I was saying, they are the best men that we have. They carry all kinds of weapons with them at all times, as you may have seen. Their bows are made of weirwood tree branches, which are taken with the permission of greenmen who care for the weirwood trees, which is the best type of wood for making bows, second only to the golden heart bows. The older the tree is, the better the bow will be. They are trained for a period of 7 to 10 years depending on their skill levels. Their weapons are made of same materials as the Winter Wolves, though their armor contains an extra layer of chainmail for more protection. Now comes the artillery division. They are men who have been trained by scholars to make the best siege weapons possible. They are given some basic training in weapons, but not much," he said. "So, this concludes all the land-based units of the North?" she said. "Yes, that concludes all the land-based fighting units of House Stark. Now, the Sea Wolves are the only maritime fighting unit of House Stark. They are first trained near Long Lake, then at the headquarters of Western or Eastern Fleet at Seawolf Point or Ramsgate respectively. They are trained for 5 years under the expert tutelage of the Bravasi seamen. They wear armors made only boiled leather and northern steel plate. They do not wear chain mail to reduce the weight of their armor. The men are trained to fight on seas, and our ships have several ballista and tread bucket to rain hell on the opposite fleet. The weapons are again made of northern steel and ironwood. The winter wolves and sea wolves serve for a period of 11 years, 4 of which are spent in training. After that they can leave our services or re-enlist themselves for a period of 5 years, and so on. The officers serve for 16 years instead of 11, and then they can re-enlist themselves for 5 years at a time. But the Weirwood warriors are sworn for a period of 21 years, be they officers or under ranks. He said, finishing telling her about the northern armies sworn to House Stark. Our vassals also have their own armies, and seeing the benefits of having a standing army, they also did the same. Their numbers lie between 10,000 to 15,000 troops, and naval warships between 50 to 70. Houses Mormonts and Glovers have the largest navy of 72 and 65 warships on the western coast, and the Skagasai and the Mandaealis and Karstarks have the largest naval strength on the eastern coast at 78 warships of Skagos and 65 ships of Karstarks and Mandaealis. Though, it is very likely that they will also increase their numbers as the population of the north also increases. He said as he finished telling her about the might of the northern armies. Now we come to the political aspects of the north. Due to the changes brought in by me, House Stark, which was already held in high regard all over the north, is now practically worshipped by both the small folk and lords and ladies of the north. They take every command given to them seriously and follow it to the letter. He said. The northern court is different than southern courts. In the south, people scheme and backstab and use honeyed words, but in the north things are different. We do not scheme. The lords are fairly rewarded for their loyalty and patience. We do not speak honeyed words, instead we are blunt and speak our mind. Our words do not have hidden meanings behind them. In fact, some of the lords and ladies find it insulting if you do not speak up your mind or use honeyed words to speak them. So, remember that, Ashura. Speak your mind in clear words. He said, and she nodded in acceptance. It may take some time, as I am used to the southern courts, but I will try my best to do so. She replied. Now, in the north we have something similar to the small council of the king, though it is very different and elaborate. The lords do not stay here, instead we convene for a week in every 3 moons. You have your own council? She asked, fairly surprised. Yes, Ashura. The north is a very large kingdom, and I cannot take care of every little detail of the north. We have trade more than the rest of the kingdoms together. Our mines are numerous and produce 5 times the gold than the richest mines of the Westerland. We produce enough crops, meat and drinks to rival the reach. For all this I needed to have a council, or we could have never risen to the position that we are in now. He replied, and she had nodded her head. Now the council is large, as I did not want to overwork a lord and make him neglect his own lands, and also because we have many new departments. Now there is no hand of Lord Stark. He said, and she cracked a smile at his attempted jape. But, my father, mother, and now you will take an active role in ruling the north. Whenever I was unavailable since my ascension to the position of Lord Stark, my father ruled in my stead, but now that role will fall onto you. My advice is that take my father's counsel into account when you rule. He has worked tirelessly since we hatched this plan, and he may know something about the north which you did not know or I forgot to tell you. He said. Are you unavailable that much? She asked curiously. Every year I leave to see the various construction sites and the lords of the north to hear any grievances or problems they may have been facing. It usually takes me 2 moons to complete my tour. I have already done my tour this year, so you will have time to get used to the north by the time I leave for my next tour. He replied, and she nodded her head in understanding. Now the Council of the North consists of Master of Trade, currently held by Lord Mandaealy. Master of Treasury is the position given to a lord who overlooks the minting of coins and the treasury of the north. I will contact him and ask him to give you a detailed income and expenditure of the north for your project. I have given you the gist of it, but a detailed report will have more accurate data. He said, and she nodded. That position is currently held by my uncle Lord Ricard Karstark, heir to Karhold. The next position is that of Master of Environment. With all the construction work and trees being cut, we feared that we might do some irreversible damage to our environment. So this position was created to manage this problem. Interestingly, the problem of the yaks eating too much grass and causing damage to the pasture lands was first brought to me by Lord Hornwood, who currently holds this position. Then there is the position of Master of Food Production and Distribution. This position is to be held by a Stark, as per the wishes of the Lords, and my father currently heads it. Then there is the position of Master of War, which is currently headed by John the Great Yonumber. He is the one to call the banners of the North. Instead of having one position of Master of Ships, we have two positions, Master of Warships and Master of Trading and Fishing Ships. The position of Master of Warships is held by Lord King Shaus of Skagos, and Master of Trading and Fishing Ships is held by Lord of Seals, a Freefolk clan chieftain. Then we have our own Master of Spies, which is held by Mistress Lyda of Lies, a freed woman. Then we have the position of Master of Small Folk Welfare, which is led by Lord Mark Riswell. Then we have our own Master of Laws. He looks after the laws both old and new and ensures that the North does not break any laws and all laws within the North are upheld. That position currently belongs to Lady Mage Mormont of Bear Islands, a wise and learned woman and one of our fiercely loyal vassal. We also have the representatives of all the religious heads of the North. Lord Reed's son and heir Lord Howland Reed represents the old gods. He himself is a greenseer, a person who dreams about the events of the future, a gift from the old gods. Lady Kinvara represents the Lord of Light, and Nego a Dothraki elder represents their cultures and religion, though they rarely attend any of the meetings. The final position is that of Master of Technological Advancements and is currently held by Lord Flint of Flint's Finger. This position has 7 more seats, which is held by Grand Scholars of different fields as per the requirement of that meeting. Which Grand Scholars are required for that meeting is determined by the Master of Technological Advancements, as they have the topics to be covered by the Council on that day. This position is not just an honorary position. The Master of Technological Advancements also gives new avenues to the Scholars Guild to further research. Though the addition of the Free Folk has also changed the northern culture. These men were more closer to the old gods than us, and a lot of cultures, practices and rituals of first men were forgotten or were not in practice anymore because the southerners thought that these were barbaric. They have been restarted, at least the reasonable ones. He said. What kind of practices? For example, we used to execute justice to our criminals in front of a weirwood tree, but that practice was slowly put to a stop when the Andals and Septons started claiming that the weirwood trees needed blood sacrifices to sustain, and without it the trees will die. That was what stopped that practice, to prove that the weirwoods could survive without blood sacrifice. I restarted this tradition. When you dole out justice in front of a weirwood tree, the gods can watch your action. If the person condemned is truly guilty, they can dole out their own justice to them in their afterlife. They know what crimes he was accused and guilty of. But if you kill an innocent person for your own gain, in front of the weirwood tree, the gods will know your own crimes and judge you accordingly. He finished. She nodded her head and he hoped that she understood the reasons behind such practices. Now, we come to the most important part of northern life. Preparation for the next winter. She said. Preparation for the next winter. Now, as you know, we, the Starks, are responsible for distribution of food for the entirety of the North. For that purpose we have made granaries and storehouses in Winter City and the rest of the North. Granaries are used to store rice and other crops except for tomatoes. Peas are boiled and then stored in special granaries. These granaries have their walls lined with snow to keep it cold. Storehouses are used to store meat and tomatoes. They are stored in ice and salt to keep them cold so that they do not go bad. The meat is first smoked in smokehouses to increase its longevity, a practice introduced by the scholars. 40% of each year's harvest and meat is stored in the granaries and storehouses until such a time that all the granaries and storehouses are full. Then that number is reduced to 20% and we start distributing food from them too. It takes 2 to 3 years of harvest to fill the granaries and 4 to 5 years to fill the storehouses. Mushrooms can be grown in Cape Crackan in all weather conditions, so it is not stored. The flints of Flint's Finger can also increase the production of mushrooms at a moment's notice, so that is also not a problem. We have a variety of food options in the north. There is rice, potatoes, tomatoes, peas and mushrooms in terms of crops, and meat of yak, deer, elks, stags, boars, but the greatest variety is seafood. The north boasts of a huge shoreline on both its boundaries, so fishing expeditions are very common in the north. We boast a variety of fishes on our platter which mainly consist of salmons, tuna, trout, sardines, cod, lobsters, crabs, prawns, the giant blue whale and swordfish. The last two are found solely in cold water conditions and are very big. It generally takes 4 to 5 fishing boats to carry one blue whale. The smallest blue whale caught till now weighed approximately 1,700 stones, that is just the weight of its meat. The largest whale caught till now weighed 22,000 stones, again just the meat. 1,000 stones of pure meat can feed 10,000 people. Swordfish is aptly named for its sword-like bill. A single fishing ship can carry up to 20 swordfishes. Each one of them has 100 stones worth of meat on them. We send regular fishing expeditions all through summer and winter to bring in more fishes. The yaks are bred during summer to increase their population, and once the population crosses a certain threshold we start slaughtering them for meat. Most of the small folk in the north have a dozen yaks in their houses. They use them for their milk and to carry load when traveling. If they have extra yaks that they want to sell, then they can sell them to the slaughterhouses. As yaks are also domesticated, so the people have a source of milk and its products throughout the winter. So you can see, as soon as one winter finishes we prepare for the next one so that we never go hungry again. He finished passionately. She nodded her head in understanding. I just want to ask you a couple of questions out of curiosity, Ned. She said, and he just nodded his head. The acceptance of the wildlings into the north would not have been easy. How did you or your father manage it? There must be some hatred towards them in the beginning. How are they adapting into their new lives? Are they causing problems with law and order? How do they rule themselves? She asked. Yes, we had a lot of discontent lords when I proposed it at first. Even my father was opposed to it, but I won them over. I asked them the same question that I had asked you yesterday. Why build a 700 feet tall 300 league wide structure made of magic when a few strategic castles would have done the same thing? If the others were defeated and exterminated, then why was there a need to build such a structure? Why weave magic into its foundations? What if our true enemy is hidden and we made the free folk our enemy as we could see them? After all, the free folk are men, and the Night's Watch was made to guard the realm of men. Many at first thought me as delusional and a child because I believed that the others are real. But I do not think the others are real, but rather there is something out there which had everyone so scared that they built that monstrosity. No one had any answer to my question, but the lords did not want to bring free folk into our ranks, especially Lords Umber and Karstark, but my father believed in me. He somehow managed to convince the lords of my plan. A lot of northern lords accompanied me to beyond the wall, and they saw how deplorable their state was. They had little to eat as no crop grows in snow, and the forests were full of dangerous wild animals. Every day was a battle for them, and if they survived at the end of the day was victory for them. That moved the northern lords into accepting them into our ranks. The free folk were more distrustful of us as they thought that we were bringing them south of the wall just to slaughter them, but they were convinced by the free folk which we had freed from the Roswell and Bolton lands. They convinced the clans to move down south, and by that time most of the free folk were just so resigned with their lives that they thought that living south of the wall was far better than dying north of it. They were happy that they could continue most of their customs as long as they accepted that raping and pillaging would not be tolerated here. We asked the Lord Commander of the Night's Watch to allow any free folk, who laid down their arms and wanted to live peacefully on our lands, to pass. When we returned from beyond the wall, almost 20,000 free folk and came south with us, and now that number is up to 120,000. 400 giants and the same amount of mammoths also came with us, and now their population is 613 giants and almost 1,600 mammoths. The giants only converse in old tongue, so you will have to take lessons in it. The giants also decided to become one clan under the rule of Mag the Mighty. So there are 5 major clans of the free folk. The people who used to live near the western coast banded together to form the Seal clan, as they used to hunt seals on the coast. They are constructing a town on the banks where the weeping water meets the sea. They mostly are fishers and one of the major exporters of fish in the north. The clans that used to live in the haunted forest or near the Fist of First Men have now formed the clan of First Men. They have taken up brewing on the Bolton lands and are very adept in doing so. They have a variety of beverages that they make for their own consumption and for export also. The clans that lived around Hardham or any other place have formed the clan of Hardham and are mostly farmers that produce various crops which are required for the breweries. They sell their excess produce to the clan of First Men who then use the crops to produce their beverages. The fourth clan is the clan of Wargs. These men and women are all wargs and train other people who have similar capabilities. All the Stark children were trained by them to hone their warging capabilities. This clan lives in Winter City under the direct rule of Starks and is a spy and assassin organization of the North, though they have not assassinated anyone yet. These men are very closely monitored by the Wargs of the Neck as they are not allowed to operate within the North. They cannot kill or spy upon anyone within the North. It is difficult to control them, but we have managed, though a telltale sign of an animal is intentionally being warged into is that the eyes of the person doing the warging and the animal's eyes glass over and they become white. This group is one of the spy network of the North. The clans send their representatives and leaders to a council which is held in the Snow Fort. There all their grievances are heard, and if there is a split decision it is taken up in front of me and I give out the judgment. The final clan of the Free Folk is the Giant Clan, and as they have lived a nomadic life so far they never had a representative in the Council of Free Folk. But now, as you know, they will settle into their own lands and maybe start a house of their own. He finished telling her about the Free Folk. Does that sate your curiosity? He asked teasingly. Yes, this was a major aspect which had me thinking. I also wanted to know about the various construction projects that was or is taking place in the North, she said. Yes, I was going to tell you about it at a later date, but as you have already asked me I will tell you about it. He said as he led her to a detailed map of the North. We first started by making 2 castles at the northern and southern entrances of these mountain ranges here and here. We call the 2 castles Northern Fang and Southern Fang, or the Fangs. Once the 2 castles were built we started our mining process. We then made the city of Avalon here and at the same time made 4 small keeps here in the new gift to protect us from the Free Folk. Once this was done we started the reconstruction of Moat Cailin and Winterfell. That time was used by the Northern Lords to establish and flourish their trades. Once we started making money and the reconstruction work was complete we started 3 projects, construction of Seawolf Port here, construction of Fever Canal from here to here and construction of Castle's Keep here. All these projects were completed 2 or 3 years ago. Currently we are undertaking 2 major projects, construction of Winter Canal from here to here via Winterfell and the reconstruction and maintenance of the roads of the North. It will take 2 more years to complete Winter Canal and at least 7 to 8 more years to lay down the network of roads in the North. Once the Winter Canal is finished we will make a new town and port here at the point where the canal and the White Knife meet. And what about future building projects? She asked. There are no more projects that we have planned yet. But till now all the projects that we have done is mostly out of necessity and no other plan has come forth. So I do not think that any more major plans will come forward. Small or minor plans may be discussed in the future. I also wanted to ask you, how much money would you like to keep in Winterfell's coffers? How much money do I have to work with? She asked. I am not sure. But at least 5 million gold dragons should stay in Winterfell's coffers just to stay safe in case of any emergencies. He replied and she nodded her head in happiness. That means I will have almost 10 million gold dragons to work with. Yes, that is correct. Thank you. I will submit my proposal to you at the meeting. Just then there was a knock on the door and Joz came in with a missive, handed it to him, bowed and left. He read it and then turned to Ashura. Our scouts have reported that the Lords of Skagos will arrive in 2 days. Their party was seen crossing the White Knife. They are the last of the lords that are due to arrive. Our wedding will be held in 3 days' time, if it suits you, Ashura. Yes, that will be absolutely fine, Ned. If I have your permission and if you have nothing else to discuss with me I will take my leave, to go tell my father and the rest of our family about this. She replied. No, there is nothing else to discuss, Ashura. Have a pleasant evening, my lady. He said. They both stood up and he came with her till the door, but before opening it, she turned towards him and gave him a chaste kiss on his lips, much to his embarrassment. I would like it if you would come and dine with the rest of us today, Ned. She said. As my lady commands. I will love to have my meal with you. He replied, blushing. She smiled a bit shyly and left the room. Ashura. As she left the solar and followed the guards to her room, she could not for the life of her understand what had prompted her to kiss him. Though it was only a chaste kiss, but she did not want him to think that she was some kind of a harlot who kissed any person. Though they were betrothed and in Dawn no one would have batted an eye at such behavior, they were in the north and she did not know the mindset of the northerners. Admittedly, it felt so good to kiss him. His lips were so soft and his breath so warm as it left a tingling sensation on her face, but this was not proper. She would have to talk to someone about this. But, whom to talk to? Mother Diriyah? No, she would just laugh and say it was about time and then scold me for not fucking him then and there. Anyways, she would not give her a northern perspective. So, that meant either her good mother or her good sister. Thinking about the two of them, she decided that her good sister would be a better option. So, with that decided, she decided to further think about it after her talk with Lyanna. She then let her mind wander off to the things that had been revealed today. The power that North and House Stark commanded was already immense, and in 2 or 3 decades it would be insurmountable. She knew that the North was powerful, but not even in her wildest dream could she think was that it was so powerful. This much power would surpass even the king, and all this was achieved in such a short time. It was a credit to the people of this land and their lords that this much change was possible. She knew that the Starks had ruled these land for near 8,000 years, and that was an impressive feat in itself, but now the Starks, who were already well loved by the lords and worshipped by the small folk, had cemented their positions as the most powerful family of the realm. No one would dare to attack a house which was so well loved by its vassals and the small folk alike. The North in itself was now a complete kingdom and did not need to rely on anyone else to survive. As she reached her rooms, she found that her father, mother, Elia, Arthur and Oberyn were there waiting for her. "You have been gone the whole day," her mother said first. "The wolf could not keep his paws off of you, could he? Tell me, Ashura, is he a good fuck?" Oberyn asked, mischief clear in his eyes. "No, Oberyn, we were not fucking. There are a lot more important things to do instead of just fucking anyone that walks, you know. You should try it sometime," she said, a bit annoyed at him for some reason. "Well, then do tell, daughter. What were you two doing alone in his solar the whole day?" It was her father that spoke next. "We were talking. He wants me to take an active role in governing the North, and for that I needed to know about it," she said. "You were talking about the North the whole day. I understand knowing about the lands, but it would not take a whole day to know about a kingdom, however different it may be." It was Elia who spoke next. "Elia, it is clearly evident that a lot is going on in the North. It may have taken some time for her to come to terms with the changes in the North," Arthur said, and she went deep in thoughts. Had she really come to terms with the North? The answer was simple: no, she had not. And it would have some time to come to terms with it, she was sure. But she did not want to tell her family about it. She had not talked to Ned about telling her family, but it was clear he did not want anyone of the South to know about it, yet. If he had, then they would have had this conversation yesterday during the meeting. So, she did not want to regale her family of the conversation she just had with Ned. She was of Dawn, but now her allegiance was first to the North and to House Stark. "Yes, brother. There is a lot happening in the North. It took me some time to come to terms with it," she replied with a small smile, and prayed to all the gods present in the lands that her mother and father would buy her little act. "Everyone, except Lord Dane, leave the room," came the voice of her mother, and it was clear that she had not bought the little act. Everyone except her father left the room. "What are you hiding? What did Lord Stark tell you that has worried you so much?" she asked. "I am not worried, mother. I am just trying to come to terms with what he told me," she replied. "And what did he tell you, daughter?" her father asked. "A lot of things. He explained the North, its economy, politics and strength to me," she replied. "And," he asked again, trying to get some answers. "Mother, father, I hope you would forgive me for saying this, but whatever my future husband has told, it was in trust and confidence. And I will not break his trust and confidence. Not even to you. I am to be the Lady of Winterfell, and my allegiance now lies first to these lands and its people. If my betrothed had wanted to tell you more of the North, he would have done so himself yesterday. He did not. So, I will not tell you any more about it now." She finished with regret in her eyes. She felt bad for talking to them like this, but it was necessary. As it should be, Ashura. As it should be. I am proud to have a daughter such as you, and though I may not have birthed you, you are as much as a daughter to me as Aliyah. Her mother said, and saw her father smile proudly at her. She could not stop tears from pooling in her eyes. She just nodded her head, relieved that there was no ill will between them. So, tell me, when will the wedding take place? Her father asked. In 3 days, father. The last of the lords of the north will arrive in 2 days' time. She replied. Her father nodded her head and then took leave to tell the rest of the Dornish lords. After he left, her mother sat with her on the small table in her room and said, so, tell me. Do you feel that you will be happy with him? Does he make you happy? She asked. Yes, mother. I feel so. I will be very happy here. The land is very different from Dorne, but I know I will be happy here. She replied and got a warm smile from her in return. They talked a bit more about the details of the wedding, and then her mother left her to change for dinner. Just before she was to leave the room, Ashura said, thank you, mother. You have no idea what kind of a boon it is for me. Ned will be a great husband. I can feel it in my bones. He will take care of me. He is a good man, and through this friendship Dorne will prosper. She said, and got a smile from her mother as she left the room. She just laid down on the bed, until the maids come and thought about all that had been revealed to her today. The end.